Every week, hundreds of comic books hit the shelves, and every year there are a few comic books that are made into movies. Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men. You may have heard of them. Now, you might be an avid reader of novels and love how a novel can take you to a world just by reading. Well, comics can give you similar themes and similar story arcs, and they can keep you entertained for months, if not years. The thing is, you'll usually need more than one comic book to get through a story, and a lot of comic books kind of end on a cliffhanger until the next week or the next month. But hey, you get that with television. It's true that the majority of comic books are superhero-based, but there's also comedy, drama, horror, sci-fi. Marvel even started a Doctor Who comic book back in the 80s. Issue number 1, 1984, oh yes. Not to mention, comics are a lot less demanding on your time than novels. So what do you want to do if you want to start collecting comic books more? First off, find out if there's a local comic book shop. If there is, there you go. Because remember, it's always a good idea to support your local businesses. Most comic book shops have a discount bin of comics for 50 cents or $1, but just because they're in the discount bin does not mean that they're bad. A few weeks ago, I got this little gem in a 50-cent bin. 50 cents. I got to see Wolverine and Spider-Man in a comic book for 50 cents. The thing is that this was a collection of Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine 1 through 3, so it was like a compilation. So it's not actually the first edition original print of the comic book, but it's the size of 3 comic books, so I technically got to read through 3 comic books from beginning to end without having to wait for another issue. And that's another great thing about the discount bin. You throw down a couple bucks, you get a bunch of comics, and then you find a storyline that you really like, and then you gravitate towards that. It'll really help you decide if you want to have comic book collecting as a hobby. If you don't have a local comic book shop, there are websites that you can sign up for and they can send you subscriptions of comics right to your house. It's also smart to have 2 or 3 comic book series or characters that you're following. I'm currently following the new Scarlet Spider series, Avengers vs. X-Men, and the Deadpool series where he's trying to kill himself. That sounds cheery. No, but seriously, it's hilarious. Once you start getting your comics, you're going to want to protect them. Mylar sleeve, cardboard backing. If you want to keep your comics for a long time, make sure that the cardboard backing is acid-free. Always have a little stockpile of sleeves and backings, which again you can get from your local comic book store, but know the size of the comic book that you're going to be protecting. I bought these silver-sized backings a while ago, not realizing that silver was actually the size of a comic book, and they ended up being about 1/8 of an inch too wide. Once you start getting into 10s and 20s of comic books, you're going to want to get what's called a long box. This is what's called a long box. It keeps the comics vertical like they're supposed to be. If you're looking for a rare or usually high-priced comic, search an online site like eBay. eBay auctions let you cherry pick the exact comics that you want, and they're usually really reasonably priced. But keep in mind that there are 2 kinds of comic book sellers online. The ones that are trying to clean out their closet, and the ones that are trying to make a really big profit. The ones trying to make a big profit will usually price theirs outrageously high, but you're sure to find bargains if you know what you're looking for and you do a lot of research. Speaking of bargains, there are usually a couple people at flea markets just trying to unload a bunch of comics. You know, Spider-Man's black suit? This comic was the first appearance of that black suit. I got it for $1. The guy had the bin marked each comic $1. I got it for $1, and it is in really good condition. The guy didn't even know what he had. So because this is issue number 8 in a 12-issue set, I've been on eBay trying to get the other 11 issues. So Marvel, DC, and Image Comics make up about 90% of the industry, with independent titles making up the other 10%. But if you're completely new to the comic book world, you're probably more familiar with Marvel characters. I mean, aside from Superman and Batman, Marvel has been dominating the superhero movie scene. Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, they're all Marvel. Which reminds me, who else is seeing the Avengers at midnight? Side note, I'm not filming this on my pretty little blue video camera anymore. I bought a new one with an 80 gig hard drive. So now I'm selling my blue one on eBay. The listing's down below if you're curious. Proceeds for the video camera and my other auctions will help me get to VidCon. So yeah, you can help me get to VidCon. Bye.